A very warm welcome to the 11th recitation, which is about spreadsheet functions. The purpose of this recitation is to practice spreadsheet functions. The file example 2 in the modules will be used during the recitation. This file can be found on Canvas under the Files tab. Under Recitation Information, you can find my name, Jayashri Damala. There will be a recitation folder for the 11th one. In this folder, you can get the file. This recitation is related to the content on chapter 14 of the Fluency textbook. Before we start, a gentle reminder to watch the previous recitations if you haven't and fill the quiz form. Also, please be sure to mention the honor code while submitting the assignment. The topics that will be covered today in the recitation are as follows. We will look into 3 worksheets. First is the flower workshop sales, then is the gradebook and the grades, and finally the loans worksheet. So the first problem statement is about a flower shop sales. I request everyone to download the example 2 Excel sheet from where I have told. The first thing to do is we will fill the title and the date. So this is how the worksheet looks like. The worksheet has, this is the flower worksheet, then followed by gradebook, grades, and then loans. So first we'll work on the flower shop sales. So the first task that we've been told to do is to fill the title and the date. So I would request everyone to first to pause the video, then try to fill in the formulas and then come back to the video and see if you've done it right. So if we see, we'll write our name over here first. So let's write our names. Followed by the date for today. So we can write the date for today by writing an equal to sign and writing today. So today's date 11/11 has been put over here. Then we can go on to the next thing, which is, so the Excel today function returns the current date updated continuously when a worksheet is changed or open, and it does not even take any arguments. So that is how we can fill today's date. Then the next task to perform is to compute the sales tax, the gross income, the net income, and also to reorder the columns. Now, for reordering the columns, the condition is if D5 is less than 20, then yes, and then no. That's the condition for reordering the columns. Moving on, we have the gross income, which the formula is price per bouquet and the bouquet sold. Then sales tax can be found by multiplying the sales tax rate with the gross income, and the net income can be found by subtracting the sales tax from the gross income. So whenever you're doing all these calculations, please be sure to use absolute referencing wherever necessary and also autofill the values. So let's go ahead and first reorder. So for reordering, as said, the condition is if. So here it's written if we use if. So we'll write if. And the first one is D5. So we can write if D5 is less than 20. Then in brackets, yes and no. So it will give us yes and no according to the condition. And oops, one mistake that we've done is the equal to sign is not there. Now that the equal to sign is there. So now you can see if 7 is less than 20, what will happen? And yes will come. But now 28 is not less than 20, so a no should come. So we'll just autofill all these values by dragging it down. And accordingly, the yes and no's have been filled. Now the gross income is price per bouquet into the number of bouquets sold. So that has to be C into F. So we can write equal to C5 into F5. So that will give us the gross income. Now we can just drag it down and get all the values. The next is the sales tax. Sales tax is a rate into the gross income. We can see the rate is given in G1. So we can write that here. We can write the formula here. So over here, we'll be using absolute referencing because the value of the sales tax rate is in G1 itself. So we'll write $G, $1 into the gross income. So gross income is G5. And we can just drag it down. So this is how we can find the sales tax, and the net income can be found by the gross minus the sales tax, which is G5 minus H5. So with this, we have found the gross income, the sales tax, and the net income. Now that we have all the values, let's round the sales tax to two decimal places. This can be done using the Excel round function. It returns a number rounded to a given number of digits. So the round function can round to the right or the left of the decimal point. Now the syntax is you have to write round and in brackets number, comma the number of digits to the right of the decimal point. So rounds up when the last significant digit is 5 or greater, and rounds down when the last significant digit is less than 5. And it takes two arguments, which is the number to be rounded and the number of digits, that is the place at which the number should be rounded. Now, when the number of digits is greater than 0, the round function rounds on the right side of the decimal point. When the number of digits is less or equal to 0, then the round function rounds to the left side of the decimal point. If you want to round to the nearest integer, you can just use 0 for the number of digits. So basically, to round the values to the right of the decimal point, use a positive number for digit. To round down values to the left of the decimal point, you use 0 or negative for the digits. We can also round it to the nearest 10. So let's try doing that. Let's try to round it to two decimal places first. Let's go. So we have the sales tax. We can just write round and then 2. So now it's round to two decimal places. We can drag it down and do it similarly. So this is how you can round to two decimal places. One more thing that we can do is we can use the currency sign of dollar wherever it is necessary. Like for all the cost, we can use the currency sign. And the sales tax can be indicated as a percentage. So what we can do is over here we have the price per bouquet. So we can just select these cells, and if you go in the number tab, here you can see the currency option and you can just select dollars. So it says dollars now. The same can be done for the gross income, the sales tax, and the net income. And if we look at the sales tax rate, it is a percentage. So we can just click on the percentage over here and it will show as a percentage, which is 9%. Now, the next task to do is to fill in the column totals using the sum function. The sum function returns the sum of the values supplied. These values can be numbers, cell references, ranges, arrays, constant in any combination. And this function can handle up to 255 individual arguments. So the sum function takes multiple arguments in the form of number 1, number 2, number 3, etc. up to 255 in total. The arguments can be hard-coded constants, a cell reference, or a range, and all the numbers in the arguments provided are summed. Also, one thing that to note is that the sum function automatically ignores empty cells and text values, which makes sum useful for summing cells that may contain text values. So we will try and do the sum function. But before we do that, for the need to reorder column, we cannot take the sum. We will use a countif function to count how many yeses are there. So the countif function in the Excel counts the number of cells in a range that match the condition that is provided. So the criteria could be any logical operators like greater than, less than, equal to, or it could be any wildcards like asterisk marks or question marks for like partial matching. The criteria can also be based on a value from another cell. So let's go first do the column totals. We can do, so first we'll do the column totals for the number in bouquet, which will be equal to sum of B5. We'll write a range from B5 to B14. So that gives us the column total. Then for this also we can do equal to sum of C5 to C14. Then bouquet and stocks, we get sum of D5 to D14. And then need to reorder, like we said, we have to count reorders with count if. So we can write count if from E5 to E14, and we have to write a condition. We have to count how many yeses are there. So we will write the condition. So we have 4 yeses, as we can see. Now let's find the median, minimum, and maximum. The median function returns the median, that is a middle number in a set of data. The calculations performed by median varies accordingly to the number of numeric values provided. That is, when the number is odd, the median returns the middle number in the group. But when the number is even, median returns the average of the two numbers in the middle. The median function takes multiple arguments in the form of number 1, number 2, etc. And these arguments can be hard-coded, or it could be a cell reference or a range or anything in combination. The median again ignores the empty cells, text values, and the logical values like true and false, and it will accept up to 255 separate arguments. Then moving on to the max function, it returns the largest numeric value in the data provided. Largest numeric value in the data provided. The max function can be used to return the largest value of any type of numeric data. For example, it can return the slowest time in the race, the latest date, the latest percentage, or the highest temperature also. And it takes multiple arguments, again in the form of numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3, up to like 255 in total, where these arguments can be hard-coded, be a cell reference or a range or anything in combination. The minimum function returns the smallest numeric value in the data that is provided, and it can be used to return the smallest value of any numeric data. So for example, it can return the fastest time in a race, the earliest date, the smallest percentage, or the lowest temperature. Again, it takes multiple arguments in the form of number 1, number 2, number 3, etc., up to 255 in total. And these arguments can be hard-coded constants or a cell reference or range or anything in combination. So let's go ahead and find the median. We can write equal to median from B5 to B14. Okay, and we can do the same for this, equal to median from C5 to C14. And for this too, that is median D5 to D14. For max, we can write equal to max from B5 to B14. So this will be max from C5 to C14. And this is going to be max from D5 to D14. And then similarly write for minimum, which is B5 to B14, B5 to C14, and minimum of D5 to D14. Now, the next thing to do is count the number of items with alphanumeric values, meaning both text and numbers, and then the number of items with numbers only, and then with text only. So for this, different count functions are used. The first is the count A functions, which counts the cells that contains values, including numbers, text, logical errors, and empty text also. But it does not count the empty cells. The count_a function returns the count of the values in a list of supplied arguments, and it can take multiple arguments up to a total of 255. Then the count function returns the count of the numeric values in the list of supplied arguments. It again takes arguments in the form of value 1, value 2, where it can take up to total 255. But now if we to now using the count to count the number of cells in a range that contain a text, we have to use the countif function and a wildcard, which is the asterisk. So let's try doing that. First, we will find the number of items with values, that is text and numbers. So we will use count_a function for that. Count_a from B5 to B14. Then we can use count_a from C5 to C14. So we count_a from D5 to D14. So this gives us the number of items with values, then the number of items with numbers only. So for this, we will use count from B5 to B14. C5 to C14. And this is count D5 to D14. And for counting the number of items with text only, we have to write countif from B5 to B14 with a criteria where we will pass the criteria as an asterisk, which is a wildcard. And now since there is no text, so that's why it says 0. Then we can do it for the same. Similarly, you can do for the other ones. C5 to C14. D5 to D14. So with this, we are done with all the calculations. The last thing to do is you can set the landscape mode, which can be done using the page layout tab. So here in page layout, you can just set the orientation accordingly. So you can set it to landscape, or you can set it to portrait accordingly. Now we will move on to the next worksheet of gradebook and grades. Gradebook will essentially use information in the grades worksheet. So the first task we have to do is we have to use the VLOOKUP to fill the letter grades and the comment columns. VLOOKUP is an Excel function to get data from a table organized vertically. The lookup values must appear in the first column of the table passed into the VLOOKUP. So the syntax of this is VLOOKUP, and in brackets, the arguments that it takes are value to lookup, the range of the lookup table, column with data to return, true for, so we have to write true for an range or approximate match, or false for an exact match. So first we will try to do that. We can go to our grade book. This is the grade book and this is the grades worksheet. So for finding the grade, we have to use the VLOOKUP here. So we can write equal to VLOOKUP. First we will pass in the value to look up, followed by the range, then the column with data to return, and then true or false accordingly. So we can write VLOOKUP. First we have to pass the column, that is B2, because that is the column that is the value to look up from. Okay, so B2. Then we will pass in the range, so that is from the grades worksheet. So we can write, oops, let me just, that is from the grades worksheet. We can do absolute referencing. So we can write, so grades worksheet, we need like we have this A4. So this, we'll do the absolute referencing over here. We can write $A, $4 to, we can write $A, $4. So we can write $A, $4 to, the range could be $B, $8. So let's just write that. Oops. Yeah. We can write grades $A, $4 to $B, $8. That will be our range. Then the column from where to, so that will be the second column. And then we have to make, like, we are okay with an approximate match. So we can just write true over here. So we get the grade as A. Now similarly, we can just drag it and it will be automatically filled. The next thing, we have to write the VLOOKUP to get the comments. So we can, so for the comments, we have to see it is from A13 to B17. So that will be our range. So we can write equal to VLOOKUP, then C2, comma, we have the grades, the ranges from the grades where the absolute referencing is from A13 to B17. So we have A13 to B17, and after the column is 2. Also we need the exact match, so we'll write false, and we can just drag it down to autofill. We will find the average, median, min, and max using the functions as we have seen before. So let's go ahead and do that. We can write equal to average from B2 to, we have B12. So this will give us the average. The median can be found in the similar way by passing the median function from B2 to B12. Then the highest can be found by the max function from B2 to B12. And the lowest can be found by the min function, which is from B2 to B12. Then to make the sheet more attractive and readable, we can try to make changes by adding borders and also do conditional formatting. So we can have a condition that if the grades are between 0 to 64, it should be red. If it is 65 to 80, then yellow, and greater than 80, then green. This conditional formatting can also be done for the flower shop sheet where wherever the reorder is, yes, we can color it red. So let's try and first create borders. If we want, we can just select this table, then go to then over here, go to home, and in home we can just select outside borders, and along with that we can also select the thickness of it, so we can have a very thick border. So like that we have had outside thick borders. This similarly can be done for this and this too. So we can add borders accordingly. There are many options to add top, left, right, whatever suits the needs. Now once this is done, we can do conditional formatting. So if the conditional formatting can be done, so if it is greater than 80, first let's select the cells. The conditional formatting, we can, if we can write, if it is greater than 80, then it should be green film. Okay, so if it is greater than 80, then we have filled it with green. If it is less than 65, then we can color it red. So we can have highlight cells less than, if it is 65, then we can have it red. And if it is between 65 to 80, we can color it yellow. So between 65 to 80, we can color it yellow. So this way you can see the conditional formatting is done. The same can be done for flower shop sales. If we go here, we can just select these cells, go to conditional formatting, text that contains, and then if it contains yes, then fill it with a red color, and you can see all the yeses are filled with red. So this is how conditional formatting can be done. Now, after formatting, you can also do sorting. Like you can sort the grades in the descending order. This can also be done for the flower shop sales sheet, where you can sort according to the net income. So you can go, like you can select these cells over here, go to sort and filter, and sort it from A to Z. So it will all sort it from A to Z. So you can see alphabetically it has sorted it. You can do a custom sort also, where you can sort it by the points from the largest to the smallest. So now you have the largest first and then followed by the smallest. So this is how sorting can be done. With this, we have finished our worksheet of gradebook also. Next and the final one is the loans worksheet. Now in the loans worksheet, we can see this is how it looks. And the first colored column, that is percentage down, is already completed, and it just calculates the percentage down payment. The next task to do is complete the APR column using the VLOOKUP function to get the APR corresponding to the number of years for each customer based on the years rate small table on the top section of the worksheet. So here we have a years, and the years, and according to those years, the rate has been given. Using this, we have to get the APR. Now, we will use the VLOOKUP for that, and some years do not have a match on the years rate table, but an APR will be assigned nonetheless by the VLOOKUP function based on which section of the table the years fall under. So as we can see, the years are for 10, 20, 30, but if you can, and for these 10, 20, 30, the rates have been given. But if you can see over here, the years 25, 25, 15 is used and it's not mentioned, but still the APR can be found out. So we will do that using the VLOOKUP function. So as we know, VLOOKUP function, first we will send, first we will VLOOKUP First, we will write the lookup value to be taken from, which will be F, which is F, sorry, not 5, it should be F9, comma, the range from which we have to see. So the range is going to be from D, we have D4 to E6, that is this to this. So we have to write, we have to do absolute referencing D4 to E$6. Then the column which we have to refer to, which is the second one. And do we need the approximate matching or the exact matching? So we are okay with approximate matching. So we'll write true. So with this, the API has been found out. We can autofill it by dragging it down. Is we have to find the monthly payments. Now Excel has a PMT function, which is a financial function, and it returns the periodic payment for a loan. And this PMT function can be used to figure out the payments for a loan given there is a loan amount, the number of periods, and the interest rate. So the syntax is equal to PMT, and it takes the rate, the number of periods, and the present value, where the rate is the interest rate, the number of periods is the number of payments for the loan, and we have the present value or the total value of the loan payments, which is also given as the argument. Now if you see in this loans example, there is a mismatch related to the time dimension. So like normally interest rate is an annual interest rate, but if you can see, we need to find monthly payments. So this has to be fixed when we are setting the parameters for the function, where we will turn the annual percentage rate into a monthly rate by dividing the APR by the number of payments per year. So for example, per year. So now we have like G9, which is the APR for the loan number 101. So we will do G9 divided by the number of payments per year, which over here is given as 12. So we'll do G5, that is the APR divided by 12. So basically we are converting the number of periods. So we are basically dividing the APR by the number of payments. So this way we will get the monthly rate. Also, we have to convert the number of periods into months by multiplying them with 12. So we have the years, which is 25. We have to convert it into the months. So we'll do 25 into 12. So this way, all the time-related parameters will be expressed in monthly terms. Therefore, we will get the monthly payment amount. So let's go ahead and do that. We will use the PMT function. And we know the PMT function first takes the rate. So the rate is going to be as said, G9 divided by, we can do 12, or we can do the number of payments per year is given as here, given by B5. So we can do absolute referencing here, B5. The next thing we have to input is the number of payments that has to be done. So that is going to be F9, and we will convert it into the months. So we can add B5. And finally, we can write the present value, which is the amount that is there, that is D9. So this gives us a monthly payment. Now we can drag and drop and drag to just autofill. So this way we get all the monthly payments. Now monthly insurance has to be found out, and it is calculated using the formula loan amount into the monthly insurance rate. So here the loan amount is going to be given by this, that is the amount finance, which is like D9, and multiplied by the monthly insurance rate. So for the monthly insurance rate, now we know that Here we have the insurance rate as 0.55%. So we will be using that, but since we need it for monthly, we will have to divide it by the number of payments per year, which is 12. So this is how the division is needed because the insurance rate is expressed in annual terms. So let's go ahead and do that. We can write D9 into, we have the insurance rate given by the absolute reference V6 divided by the number of payments, which is P5. So this way we can just drag it and autofill it to get the monthly insurance. So with this, we come to an end to the recitation, and be sure to fill the quiz form to be marked for attendance. Thank you, and meet you at the next recitation.